Welcome to another edition of Couz's Corner, your go-to channel for sports with a heavy dose of West Virginia Mountaineers. Today I want to break down a couple games for you that's coming up this weekend, along with a special guest, my friend Brandon, and we're going to give you a couple upset picks this week. First, I'm going to give you my game that I'm going to pick, and that's the Texas A&M Arkansas game. Texas A&M are slight favorites in this game, and rightfully so. They have a great defense, only giving up 5 points a game. But I'm actually taking Arkansas to win this game by a score of 24-16. And the reason I'm picking Arkansas is Texas A&M has not played an offense like Arkansas this year. Arkansas is a very run-heavy team. Texas A&M, that's the weakest part of their defense, is stopping the run. They're giving up about 162 yards a game on the ground. And also, Texas A&M's playing with a backup quarterback who's completing less than 50% of his passes. And I just don't think Texas A&M's offense is going to have what it takes to score enough points on Arkansas. Texas A&M only scored 10 points against Colorado, and they're only averaging about 28 points a game, including the other two games against non-Power 5 schools. Arkansas is averaging about 40 points a game, including a win over Texas. So I think that Arkansas has the more potent offense. I think it's going to be a somewhat low-scoring game, 23-16. But I think Arkansas's rushing attack overcomes Texas A&M, and then add in the fact that A&M is -3 in turnover ratio and Arkansas is +2 on the year. I think that may play a factor as well. So my upset pick for the week: Arkansas beats Texas A&M 24-16. Now I'm gonna let my friend Brandon join me on the phone, and he's gonna tell us what he thinks and what his upset pick of the week is.
Yeah, everybody, I'm here with Brandon, my buddy Brandon. He's another big college football fan. He and I like to chat a lot about college football, and we both kind of see things from the same light in a lot of ways. But the game, I'm gonna let Brandon help me break down this Clemson North Carolina State game. Brandon, first off, how you doing?
Doing fine, man. Good to be on here with you. Really enjoy your channel, and I see your subscribers are just climbing. So that's a good thing.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. I really enjoy it. It's always fun to talk college football, and and with like-minded people,
Oh yeah, so it's always fun to talk. I mean, you see the Herb Streets and the Corsets on there, and you just listen. But with somebody that you can talk to, and even if you have a debate, you can kind of, you don't see eye to eye on some things, and you can, so it makes it fun. You can talk on a more personal level, and it's fun. I like that live chat you done the other night. It's kind of, so that was pretty neat. So.
Yeah, it was, and that was a lot of fun to do too. I enjoy those. That's more my element. I'm better when I'm talking to a face.
I hear you.
Or at least a voice, other than a screen, just a blank screen with nothing coming back at me.
Right, there you go. Well, maybe here in the future, if we do another one of these, you can see my ugly face, and I don't know, that may get you some subscribers to go away. I don't know. I better not do that.
I don't know about that. Now. They can look at me. They can look at you. So it's all good.
There you go.
But listen, man, I don't want to. Let's get right into it. The NC State Clemson game? I find this to be a very intriguing game, man, and I know through some off-air conversations you and I've had that you do too. What's your take on this game, man? First off, who do you think? Well, we'll get your prediction later, but first, what's some interesting things you found on this game?
Well, I'm very intrigued by NC State. I was watching listening to a college football pod there not long ago, and they was talking about the most underrated teams, and NC State was one of the ones the guy was talking about, and so I've been intrigued by him because of Gibson. I just love the guy, still try to keep up with him, being from West Virginia. But so they started talking about the defense, and I'm like, yeah, that's Gibby, So I've been following them and checking them out. But what I find intriguing about this is their defense is so good. Clemson's offense is so bad, but on the flip side, Clemson's defense is spectacular too. Well, like I was telling you a minute ago, you might have a 0-0 game like the Tech and Wake Forest game at the end of regulation.
Right.
But and now that I say that, it'll be a shootout. But I'm really intrigued by the defenses. North Carolina State's only allowing 10 points a game. Clemson's allowing 7. And I like it because it's at home. It's at NC State, and they've had this game from what I've seen and read, and they've had this game circled for a while now. And so, with all that being said, I think that this could be. I'm not saying I'm 100% sure that NC State's going to win, but if there was an upset alert, this would be the biggest one for me. This would be a very upset-minded thing.
Right.
One of the things I was telling you, go ahead.
Go ahead. One thing I'll let you give me the stats you and I were talking about in a second, but one thing I was going to point out here real quick is one of the things I found intriguing. Their defenses are extremely, extremely good. The stats are good on both ends of that, but the penalties. NC State has only committed 11 penalties in 3 games.
Wow.
Clemson's committed 20. And there's a 20-yard advantage, approximately 20 yards difference in penalty yardage. And you think about a game, 10 yards here and 5 yards here, and it can make a huge difference in the game. So that's one area that NC State may have an advantage. They look like and they also don't seem to turn the ball over much. But
right.
They force turnovers. They've already forced several turnovers this year. They've already gotten they've intercepted 4 passes already this year, which is good for 3 games. So they will turn you over, and I think they forced several fumbles too. So Gibby's defense apparently is playing kind of just like they did at West Virginia. Man, they're aggressive and they try to turn you over. Right,
and you get a game close like this that it should be, and you get a couple turnovers, and you get the crowd on your side, and you know how that goes. I mean, and also Clemson. I mean, their offense. Another stat I've got here. They're 108th in the nation at yards per play. Now, Clemson, and
right.
In the 2 games, we won't count the South Carolina State game because that's, but Georgia and Georgia Tech, the 2 FBS schools they played, they've only had 2 plays to go 17 yards or longer. I mean, that was fascinating. That was one of the most fascinating stats I have found. I mean, they're ranked, 6th or 9th now, whatever it was. I mean, they're just a high-powered team, and you come into this year, they averaged 6 yards per play last year. That's pretty good. But to turn around and have this offense they have now, I mean, it's just. But 2 plays more than 17 yards. I mean, that has to be one of the worst in the nation. I just couldn't get over that stat.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So
Clemson would have fallen that far, right?
Right. Exactly, and that's what kind of grabbed my attention too. I just couldn't believe it.
Right.
But on the flip side, their defense is just as good or better than NC State. So, they haven't allowed a touchdown, all season, as far as
right.
on the offensive. But I mean, their defense is just as good. So
yeah, because the 10 points that Georgia got was a pick 6, if I'm not mistaken, right?
That's something else. Yeah, that was a pick 6, and that's it. They've not allowed an offensive touchdown all season. So there you go. I mean, that's I played this game. I took the points, NC State plus the points, but I'm sitting here thinking, the total for the game is 47. I mean, can these teams really score 47? I'm thinking now I should have probably looked at that. Cause, yeah. I mean, I don't see it getting to 47. This might be, and I say that and it'll be a shootout now, but it's going to be an interesting game, I think. NC State's played, they've played a cupcake. I think it was Furman. They beat them 45-7. They played South Florida, beat them 45-0. Now South Florida, yeah, they're not very good, but they are a group of 5 school. It's not like it's, a pushover. So, they beat the teams that they should have beat, in style. And that's what you got to do when you play those games. But even South Florida. Now, the Mississippi State game, I don't know what happened to them on that game. That's a little worrisome, but,
well, I was actually
looking. They did.
You actually dovetailed into what I was going to talk about. Mississippi State game, the stats of that game were pretty dang close.
Yep.
NC State had 3 turnovers, and Mississippi State had 0. That was the difference in the game.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And Mississippi State, they
would have won that game.
Right. And Mississippi State, they got that high-powered offense. I mean, they still only held them 24 points. that's with the 3 turnovers still. So, so really Mississippi State really even score, So, I mean, that's, the only thing that I think could possibly happen is that Clemson's just been so bad that maybe they're just so mad and angry, and maybe they just all of a sudden just come out and crush somebody. But I don't think it's going to be this weekend. You know what I mean?
I agree with you. I definitely think it's going to be a closer game than what we probably would have envisioned going into the season. But I'll tell you here's the one area I think. Here's the reason I'm going to make a prediction Clemson wins the game, but here's why. Number one is Clemson, and I just don't think they can play this bad all year. Number one,
right?
I think they're just trying to get their feet underneath them, and they're breaking. They got a new quarterback. Well, he ain't new, but he's starting for the first time. He's the guy for the first time, and they've probably got some new pieces around him. I haven't studied all their depth chart enough to know exactly their everything about them, but. Trevor Lawrence ain't there anymore. And Trevor Lawrence was the guy for 3 or 4 years there, and 4 I think actually. And so, coming in off the bench in relief of a guy when you have nothing to lose, you have no pressure on you. Well, I'm gonna call him DJ because there's no way I can pronounce his last name.
I can't. I'm not even trying.
He's got a lot more pressure on him now, so that might be affecting him a little bit. But one thing I noticed that. What's intriguing to me is that NC State's best defensive player is injured for the rest of the season.
Oh, okay.
He's a linebacker named Peyton Wilson. He's one of the top tacklers in the nation last year.
Wow.
So he's out for the year. He got hurt in the Mississippi State game, I think it was. Mississippi State game. Now, obviously, they played a Furman game without him, but, it's Furman, right? So I guess they didn't need him. But I don't know how much that hurts them, but it can't help them. But so I think, but taking the points, though, that's interesting. I think Clemson has an edge, but I'm like you. I don't think they'll beat them by 10 points. I really don't.
Right. I don't think it is.
I'll probably pick Clemson. I'll go ahead and make my prediction now. I'm going to say Clemson wins the game 10-7.
Yeah. And that's a good prediction. I was also looking too real quick. Clemson's running back entered a transfer. I don't know a whole lot about the Clemson. I don't keep up with them a whole lot, but I've seen where he entered the transfer portal. And so from what I'm reading, they're bringing a freshman running back in to start this game. So I don't know what happened there with the running back situation, but I do know he left, put his name in the transfer portal. He's not there, so.
Wow.
So I don't know how much that'll play into effect. I mean, their offense ain't that good right now anyway. But I want to go and say, I want to say that it's. I'm gonna say NC State 13-10.
Okay.
Probably be.
I like it.
I'll probably be highly disappointed when I see the final score, but I just feel like it's going to be a smash mouth game. I just think them playing at home with the defense, with Gibby, I think they're going to be ready. I really do. You get the crowd behind you, and and as bad as Clemson's offense has been, it could be upset. The dog could be barking, so, as they say.
Right. Well, I'll say one thing. From what I'm reading, the stats. You look at North Carolina State quarterback. He likes to chuck it, man. They threw the ball as many times as Mississippi State did in that game. 49 times. So apparently they got a guy who likes to chuck it around the field. So, Clemson's pass defense is good. They only give up about 157 passing yards a game. So it's gonna be interesting. And Clemson's defensive line's really stout too. That's another reason I give them the edge. They've already gotten 6 sacks on the year. So I think as a team. So I think that's why I pick Clemson in a slight edge, because I think at the end of the day, Clemson just has the most talent. I think they have the most talent. And when you take NC State's best player out of the lineup, that's where I'm giving an edge. But I do think it's going to be close, man. But, hey, everybody, Cougars Corner family, y'all heard it right here. Brandon's predicting NC State upset of the week over Clemson, 13-10.
I'm going to hold to that and see. Yeah, that's if this game wasn't at NC State and it I wouldn't do it if it was at Clemson, but I just feel like they're gonna. They've had this game circled from what I'm hearing, and I just think they could make some noise, But we'll see.
Well,
should be a good game to watch if you like defense.
Absolutely. Now, NC State's offense has been putting up some numbers,
but
they've not played a defense like Clemson either. So,
I know.
I do think it's an intriguing game. Yep.
It goes back to where they should be, just like West Virginia. We should be undefeated if it wasn't for the turnover thing. And 4-0 against Maryland, they was 3-0 against Mississippi State. So you're right there at it. So they could easily be just undefeated. Which going in this game, but they're not. But I still don't think that's going to matter. I still think being at home and just being hungry and Gibby will have them fired up.
Well, think about Gibby. His guys will run through a wall for him, and I'm sure the NCAA.
Oh, I know it exactly. Yep.
So it'll be fun. It'll be fun. What time's that game come on Saturday, Brandon?
I think it's at 3:30, Justin. I believe. Yeah, 3:30.
Okay. Well, unfortunately, I won't be able to watch it, but I'll definitely be following it and tracking it and seeing what happens and to see if our scores hold up.
All right. Yeah, I'm anxious to see. Now we might turn on and it might be 50-45. Then you can delete this video. That's the case. You can delete it.
It'll be in the World Wide Web by then, brother. Listen, I really appreciate you taking the time. I don't want to take up your evening, but I appreciate you taking the time out to do this, and let's do it again. Yeah,
man, I've enjoyed it. Like I said, we'll do it again anytime, man. Just holler. I'm a big fan, and I enjoy doing this, so we'll do it again.
All right, Brandon. Thanks.
All right. Thanks, buddy. See you.
There you go. Hope you guys enjoyed Brandon's take on the North Carolina State Clemson game. Let us know. Do you guys think we're right on our picks? Do you think these are two upsets? What are your upset alerts for this week? Let me know in the comment section. Do you have a team that you're looking at on upset alert this week? Let us know. I appreciate you tuning in. Ask that you please like and subscribe. Until next time.